welcome once again to Living in the 21st Century. Joining me today is Vasyl Savchenko, former Transportation Minister of Ukraine. Vasyl, it's a pleasure to have you on. And first, I also want to express my condolences to your mom who have just passed. I know this could be a very hard time surrounding all the conditions that are going on around you right now. But how's everything otherwise?
Thank you, my friends, for your condolences. Now the situation is similar to the situation we had before these last days. Because you know that Ukraine got under Russia's retaliated attack. And they decided to demonstrate their might and decided to attack Ukraine from different sides and different type of weapon. And because of it, it's quite difficult to survive in Ukraine because they are, targeting civilians. They are shooting missiles to residential area, residential cities, places, and their last attack was focused on capital of Ukraine, Kyiv. 2 days ago they launched more than 400 combat drones, which has explosion more than 50 kilos everyone, and more than about 40 different type of missiles, cruise missiles and ballistic missiles.
I want to bring the public up to date as to what's really going on in terms of losses, and this is based on the Kyiv Independent, and it is stated here that Russia would have already lost 995,030 troops, 22,737 AFVs, 51,079 vehicles and fuel tanks, 10,904 tanks, 28,850 artillery systems, 39,493 UAVs, 1,410 MLRS, 413 planes, 337 helicopters, 3,308 cruise missiles, 1,181 anti-aircraft warfare, 3,908 special equipment, 28 warships and boats, 1 submarines. Now, I looking at the cost of this war from Russia's side and the kind of bombardment Ukraine would have suffered versus also the almost 1 million servicemen from Russia had been died fighting this war. I mean, this is staggering statistics. And I heard earlier this week that Russia has stepped up their bombardment on Kyiv, and many are injured, civilians are getting killed and so forth. I just trying to figure out, because Russia is calling for Ukraine to surrender, and how serious are the European allies that supposed to be backing Ukraine at this point, because it's going to take more than just Ukraine fighting this war on their own. They need a full-scale backup system from allied nations to come in and fight this war, put the burden on Russia, continue to destroy the airstrips, etc. What's really going on in the inside of Ukraine right now, and strategies to really combat this war?
First of all, I start my answer from the one main idea that we cannot surrender, because we will have the same situation Russia's made in the temporary occupied territory. They are kidnapping children, killing men, or sending them to fight against Ukrainian forces without weapon and without preparing. They are trying to take Ukraine under control in the whole. And you know that during 3.5 years, they haven't managed to defeat Ukraine's forces. And you see that 1 week ago, Ukraine forces managed to eliminate more than third part their so-called strategical bombers fleet. And it means they have lost their opportunities to threaten the world, because this bombers can carry nuclear weapon. It's most dangerous weapon when they decided to use nuclear weapon. And it means that Ukraine has prevented their opportunity to attack Western countries, European Union countries, and to attack. And it's only when attack has demonstrated that Ukraine forces are effective in fighting against Russia's invaders. And because of it, they decided to demonstrate that they are able to make Ukraine to surrender, having different type of negotiator, demonstrating that they are interested in ceasefire and peace agreement, but actually distracting world attention. Just to move ahead, just to demonstrate that they can attack, and they have attacked Ukraine's territory from northern region, and they managed to move for a couple kilometers in Ukraine's territory, but it was defense line which was built by Ukraine before this attack. And they have concentrated in Ukraine and around Ukraine more than 600,000 Russia's troops, and they are sending more and more infantry soldiers to attack. They are just after Ukraine's blow, they decided to demonstrate that they can attack, and they have activized their attacks, and now everyday clashes can reach 200 clashes. Ukraine is suffering during these battles, but Russians are losing as usual from 1,000 to 2,000 soldiers every day. And you know that their leader doesn't depend on polls and doesn't depend on election results, because all this events is big bluff, because all is under Russia's leader control, and they have no choice to influence for power. And because of it, power doesn't care for casualties among Russia's soldiers, and is still sending them to die in Ukraine. And last events concerning attempt to hold negotiations in Istanbul have demonstrated that they are not interested in ceasefire, because their demands haven't changed since February 2022. They want Ukraine to surrender, and now they demonstrated it for the world that their attempt it's Ukraine surrendering. And exactly, Ukraine cannot surrender because we are ready to fight, and now our forces are strong to deter Russia Federation. And if we have enough support, Ukraine forces can defeat Russia troops which are in Ukraine and which are bordering with Ukraine. Because you can see that Ukraine forces, after receiving fighter jets and Western technology, has become more effective, and this events allows us to fight more effectively, and now we count for further support for Ukraine forces from our allies. Just for example, at the next meeting, at the next Ramstein meeting, our partners promised Ukraine more than weapon for more than 20 billions. But we depends on United States weapon, because our partnership has started have had many positive moments, and Ukrainians respect Americans and respect people who were with us from the very beginning. But I cannot say about politicians, because very often politicians are focusing for different moments, and now we can see that these events can influence for support for Ukraine. And because of it, our negotiations with our partners and promises from our partners give us opportunities to count for supplying weapon for Ukraine forces. And you know that, for example, our partners, our neighbors can understand that after, for example, defeat Ukraine, Western Europe country will get under serious threat, and Russia's troops will not stop there, will not stop at the Ukraine border if it happened. But I think that it will not happen, because our partners can understand that Ukraine defends Western Europe directly, and Europe in the whole.
Well, I agree absolutely to that. But since the Western world and Ukraine allies understand the benefits of Ukraine winning this war, I think Russia is in a very desperate situation right now. As we said before, he's asking for assistance from North Korea, Afghanistan, and those places, right? Now, Russia's supposed to be a great superpower on par to the United States of America, right? And they're asking for backup and assistance from North Korea and Afghanistan and those places. It states that they're in a desperate situation. Why could the European allies come together? Because Ukraine can't afford to get defeated, because as you just mentioned, should Ukraine get defeat, then all the neighboring nations is at high risk, really high risk. And I think it's vitally important that they see the essentials of this, come together as one unit, and just lay it down on Russia. What Russia will do, or what can they do? Probably want to go nuclear, but I believe that there are European nations that have nuclear capabilities as well. So are they going to just sit back and allow Russia to do what they want? You can't expect nothing from the United States. They are not engaged in any way it looks or appears to me. You're not getting the military assistance that you once used to get. Sure, you ain't going to get manpower either. So what next? We heard England speak about it, that they would do this and they would do the other. But I think the time had come for more physical action. Russia has to be put to rest if you is to move on in this free world and develop and have your sovereignty as a nation be honored by all countries. I think that the European allies should come up together and get to a physical strategic plan put together to stop Russia once and for all. That's my opinion. What's yours?
I'd say that we and our neighbors have a serious challenge. And at the same time, we must understand that European market, it's one from the biggest markets, and this market can spend a couple of percents for weaponizing Ukraine, and we will easily destroy Russia's army. But European Union, thanks to Ukraine, received time to understand this threat, because before they didn't understand why Russia can attack Ukraine without any reasons, and they decided to invite to Ukraine to kill civilians, to kill children, to kill elderly women, and to kill people. For what? And they didn't want to understand that it's autocratic leaders' opinion to humiliate neighbors and to demonstrate their domination, and maybe to follow own unpredictable ideas. And after that, Europeans country have decided to restart, and because of it, Ukraine received chance for support from European partners, because you know that United States support provided during the previous president time will end at the end of June. June or July, maybe in a month or couple months, we will not have support from United States, and United States weapon is good for fighting, and them. We have demonstrated how we can use it against enemies. And now we don't know what will happen next, but now publicly we have received information only from our European partners. First of all, Germany's chancellor confirmed providing Ukraine's the weapon for 20 billion. And I think that according to the previous providing, it will be enough for Ukraine forces, but we must know that this weapon will be supplied to Ukraine. We must be sure, because we depends on it. And then we have program when Ukraine's industry started producing more and more weapon inside of Ukraine. We asked for funding this project from our partners, and we have Denmark initiative, which is focused on producing artillery systems, and these systems few time cheaper than European or Americans, and is effective and rebuilt for current combat events demands. I'd say that this approach will allow us to have enough weapon to deter Russia Federation troops, and because of it, you can see that they are trying to demonstrate that they are interested in ceasefire just to distract attention and to prevent support programs, different program support for Ukraine forces, and because of it, we are worried, and I think that they will still demanding to hold to promote negotiations, because their economy doesn't work effectively, and every moment we can see that their industry is producing less and less different type of goods inside of Russia, and you know that North Korea, Iran and China are selling them weapon, and very often they are not. They are interested in selling it, but they are not interested in donating it. And I think that now it's time to concentrate for sanctions, extra sanction, because oil extracting in the world is going down because of expectation for hindering economic development, and now, if United States, European partners, and G7 countries would impose extra sanction concerning its oil, we would see Russia Federation collapse next year. Not because of defeat at the battlefield, because of economical collapse.
Yeah, we saw over the years that a lot of sanctions have been placed against Russia and the oligarchs and so forth, and to me, it didn't make a big, significant impact, maybe economically speaking. And I'm beginning to wonder how much longer you think this war is going to go on, because Putin said that he's not going to hold up. We saw like over 400 drones had been launched very recently over Kyiv. The intensity is consistently stepping up from Russia. I don't know where he's getting the weapons from, but I think this draws attention, or should draw attention, to Ukraine and its allied forces. It has to be more than just fighting a war. It has to be bringing this war to an abrupt halt, to an abrupt stop. And you've got to position yourself in a way to stop Russia from continuing what they are doing. Could Ukraine and its allied forces come up with a strategic plan to just paralyze Russia permanently from continuing this war? Because you don't want the next 1, 2, 3 years down the road this war still going on, because as it prolongs, it's destroying more and more of Ukraine's territory, and it eventually is going to start to, despite of the resilience that Ukrainians have, it's going to start to set in their psyche in terms of recovery and getting back to a normal way of life, and it will have a long-lasting impact of mental incapacitation on Ukrainians. And that's something I'm looking at. What do you think about that?
I think that our partners, our European partners, discussed the question to send to Ukraine extra military military units, and first of all, it was idea to send to Ukraine peacekeepers, but this idea was wrong, because peacekeeping group must be sent only after imposing ceasefire. And then they decided to discuss another idea to send to Ukraine deterrent troops, and this idea is exists and is being discussed. Maybe we will have support from European partners sending to Ukraine maybe boots on the ground, or maybe support to close Ukraine's sky, or maybe to help in different sphere. But we haven't received any ideas, because now European partners are interested in establishing good relations with United States, as for them is the idea, the first idea, to have good relations with United States, and after that they will know United States official opinion about it, and after that we can count for further actions in this sphere. And concerning support from sanctions, I'd say that it was really light sanctions. We must understand that, because, for example, key prices for oil was imposed from the very beginning. It's $61 for barrel. But now barrel is bargaining about 58%. It means that all Russia's oil exports is not under sanctions.
Okay.
And we know that it was done in favor of our partners.
Well, we come to the last minute of our program. Vasyl, it was a pleasure having you on. And to all those who have been tuning in, have a great day.